And at this time, Amanda and others, we're going to call this meeting to order. Fantastic. At this time, I'd like to invite Steve Moore to come to the podium. Steve is a partner in Hillcrest Partners. He's a Paul Harris Fellow, more times than one. He's a past president and a 40-year Rotarian. He's going to lead us in the invocation, Pledge of Allegiance, and the four-way test.
Please bow with me in prayer. Thank you, Lord, for our many blessings. We have so much to be grateful for. We're grateful for Rotary and done by our members locally and all Rotary members throughout the world. Bless each club as they demonstrate the four-way test through their work in Rotary, their success in their profession, commitment to their community, and their love of family. Please guide us to put this motto to daily use in our personal and professional lives. Be with our speaker today, with those who prepared our meal and our Rotary membership as we strive to put service above self. In thy holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please recite the four-way test with me. Of the things we say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you, Steve. Thank you very much. All right, we're going to need to mow through a few things. So, Amanda, do we have any guests or visiting Rotarians online, please?
I see Al Lewis is here again. She is a guest of Stacey Campbell-Dominic. We have, as usual, Doug McCall from Walsley, England, our visiting Rotarian. And that looks like it to me. Anybody else online? That's all.
Yeah. You want to do guests visiting Rotarians here? I need a marcher.
We have any visiting Rotarians or guests? Here.
Oh, thank you. Hello, fellow Rotarians. My name is Matt Cantrell, and my wife and I are both Rotarians from Columbus, Georgia. We have connections to Lakeland as our son and his wife, who met at Southeastern, live here, and we became grandparents 18 days ago. So we're visiting Lakeland more often, and we do leadership development and leadership coaching. Glad to be here today. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. That's it. I see a bunch of familiar faces. So.
Was it none of that? Okay. Thought I saw some in the back. All right, we're still having speaker problems here. We'll keep working on this. At this point, do we have any happy dollars? We'll start with the room. Anybody want to do a happy dollar? Wait. Yeah.
Next Tuesday, we will have the opportunity to do something that fewer people have the opportunity to do than we'd like to think about. And that's the runoff election for the city commission. So I urge you to vote this week. The polls are open for early voting, and next Tuesday for the two city commissioner candidates. Thank you.
I'm really super happy to have an in-person meeting. This is awesome. Thank you for all your hard work.
Oh, hi, Dan Ornament. Happy to be here and happy to be in person.
Who else is happy? Linda Wiggs.
I'm happy to be here in person, and I'm happy to pay for last week's remote happy dollar.
Crash.
Glad to be here.
Who else? Who else is happy? Mr. Governor.
This is more of a challenge than a happy dollar. Of course, I'm happy to be here in person, but the Tampa Rotary Club is making a donation to a polio fund, And for us to match their donation, we need to raise $600 between now and the end of June. So sign up, only 600 more, and we'll match their match. We could beat them though. Thank you.
Who else is happy? Anybody?
So last week I completed a community emergency response training course given by Polk County Fire Rescue. So I'm pretty excited about that. And I also completed the Lakeland Regional Walk Run in memory of Mark's sister Susan.
Anybody else? Well, I'm going to throw in a happy dollar. So I tried something the other day. It actually worked out. If you go on Google Maps now, and for a location, you type in Lakeland Rotary Clock, the Lakeland Rotary Clock shows up on Google Maps now. So
Cool.
Amanda, would you mind leading happy dollars online, please?
Sure, I will. And I'll start with my own 2 happy dollars. I'm really happy that I know Jack Lohman, and he is a good friend to so many. I appreciate him being our grill master and head chef that enabled my team and the team that is sponsored by May Brands, raising money for Lakeland Volunteers in Medicine to sell over 100 meals this past Saturday and probably raise well over $1,000 for Lakeland Volunteers in Medicine. So thank you to Jack. And we were doing some informal happy dollars here before you all could hear us, but I'm happy that 2 of our Rotarians, at least 2 of our Rotarians, I think 3, are being honored tonight as finalists for the Chamber of Commerce Honors Awards. Michelle Ledford's nominated and a finalist for Businesswoman of the Year. Chuck McDaniel is a finalist for Businessman of the Year and Chamber Volunteer of the Year. Ring Roofing, James Ring's company, is a Rising Business of the Year. So we have lots of Rotarians being represented and honored tonight.
Any other happy dollars online? All right, fantastic. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I had also done an impromptu one before now. I was just letting everybody know I think I'm happy that my daughter's about to turn 18. She'll be 18 on Sunday, and she's also going to be graduating high school in a couple weeks. So very happy about that.
Good thing to be happy about. Anybody else online?
Nope, you're good.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. We're going to move into announcements. DG Mark, did you have any other announcements to make? Or are you good? No, him. You get up here. Well, he's coming up on Monday, May 3rd, which is this coming Monday. We're going to do a check presentation to the City Commission for $25,000 for all the fundraising efforts this club has put forward to go towards the AED project. So I encourage anybody who would like to come show up and be part of that. It's going to be the standard meeting starts at 3. And they'll probably do the check presentation by 3:15, and we'll be out of there pretty quick. So if you're interested in coming this Monday by 3 o'clock, be there, be outside the City Commission chambers. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. A couple of announcements. District Conference, the one that's going to be held in Lakeland. It's now going to be on Zoom, May 14th and 15th. Sign up on Zoom at Dactaby, and it's free. Conference is now on Zoom, costs money, but we got one more year where we won't. Hopefully it'll be historic, and we'll go back to being live. The other is the membership challenge. We're trying to get 100 new members for 36 clubs by the end of June. So bring in a friend. Clubs are bringing in new members, so don't hesitate, and we can help you with that if you need any help. Thank you very much.
Thank you, DG Mark. It's always good to see you in person, my friend. Nate, you want to talk to us about bylaws? This is Nate Dunham, the president-elect. Maybe.
Good afternoon. We have a couple of updates to our bylaws that we're going to need your help with and get votes on. The first one has to do with check signing ability. The current bylaws say that all checks have to be signed, or all bills have to be paid by check with 2 check signers. That's just outdated with technology. We now pay bills with ACH, ETF, electronic funds. So there'll be an update to that we need your vote on. The second proposed bylaw change has to do with how we elect our officers for the club. As it currently stands, all eligible candidates show up on a ballot, and that leads to a lot of members that can't or don't want to serve on the board, and probably more importantly, leaves off some members that really want to serve, and therefore they're not able to get enough votes. So we're going to change that bylaw. We're asking you guys to change that bylaw to include only those members that want to serve on the board. So you should see those changes coming. I guess Beth will probably send those out, and it'll be bulletin for the next 10 days, and then we'll vote on it at a future meeting.
Thank you, Nate. Ms. Irma, you got some announcements?
Hi, everybody. So just to update you on our Rotary Cares a Ton Challenge, our club now has 14 people who have donated. I just got another donation, so it's 3,225 pounds of stuff that we have donated to local charities. And we are 9th in the district. There are about 20 tons that have been donated district-wide. The goal is to do 50 tons by the end of May, and there are 21 clubs participating. So if anybody is donating anything, any charity you want, we don't care, just give me a guesstimate of the weight. If you have an item, you're not sure how much it weighs, look it up on Amazon, take a guess, get as close as you can, it's fine. If anybody in your family, any of your coworkers are donating, you can use their donations as well. We're not picky. We'll take anything we can get. I also wanted to tell you that this coming Saturday, the STARS class is going to start their project at the Shoei trailer at Crystal Lake Elementary School at 8:30 in the morning. If anybody wants to join us and pitch in, bring some work gloves and dress appropriately, bring water, sunscreen, a hat. So we're going to be cleaning up some of the grounds. We're going to do some painting. We're going to cut a tree down, just fix the place up a little bit. So we'd love to have you join us. We're doing it on 2 different Saturdays, May 1st and May 22nd, 8:30 to noon-ish. Thanks.
Thank you, Irma. This challenge, the Rotary Cares a Ton challenge, came along late, and Irma just picked it up and ran with it, so we appreciate that. All right, I've got some pretty good news, or we do, I hope. Everybody sees it that way, but Todd's been working on trying to get us together again for a very special occasion. Just want to give us an update on that.
Right, thanks, Joe. Good afternoon. We're going to put it on your calendars. We're going to have an anniversary dinner, June 22nd at Lone Palm. So we'll be getting details will be sent out to you, but we wanted to go ahead and make the announcement that the 22nd of June at 6 o'clock, we'll have the cocktail hour, followed by a 7 o'clock dinner, program like we usually do. So we're at 22nd of June, the anniversary dinner. Thank you.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you for picking that up and making that happen. It'll be fun to get together. Any announcements online, Beth or Amanda?
No.
Okay, hearing none. Hopefully the speaker's working. We'll get into our program. Our program today is going to be introduced by Laura Adams. Laura is a manager of special projects and historian, public supermarkets. She's practically brand new as a Rotarian, but very active in the club already, and we're certainly glad to have her. So Laura, can you do the introduction of our speaker, please?
Sure. And Rob, I'm going to shorten it just a little for time, so don't be offended. Welcome. So in June of 2004, the Tampa Bay Sports Commission named Rob Higgins as the executive director. His primary responsibility is to promote the development of community sports in the Tampa Bay area, as well as leading the Sports Commission as the principal organization that bids on and hosts sports and entertainment events in Tampa Bay and Hillsborough County. In the 16 years that he's held his position, Tampa has successfully hosted or been awarded many events from 2007 to now, most recently including the 2021 Super Bowl and upcoming the 2022 SEC Men's Basketball Tournament. He has served on the Bid and Operations Committee, which successfully landed and hosted also the 2009 Super Bowl. He was named the Tampa Bay Business Journal's 30 Under 30 list, and the Tampa Bay Times named him as one of the top 10 difference makers in the Tampa Bay area. More recently, he's been named the prestigious Street and Smith Sports Business Journal 40 Under 40, and he's been recognized as one of the most influential sports figureheads in the history of Tampa Bay by CBS Radio, one of the top 10 most influential people in Tampa Bay by WTSP 10 News, and Huffington Post lists him as one of the top 30 sports marketers in the world. Welcome, Rob Higgins.
Thanks, Laura. You could have shortened it even more. No problem. Can everybody see my screen okay? This is a different look to the behind the scenes of Zoom than I've seen before. So I'm glad it's working okay. The title of my presentation was The Winning Spirit of Team Tampa Bay. And the reason that's the case is we just had the opportunity to host two great major events. We hosted our hometown's 5th Super Bowl back in February, and then we also hosted our hometown's first WrestleMania just 2 weeks ago. And we were the first city in history to host both of those events in the same year. The reason why we use the term winning spirit is because going into those two events, I think we knew we were going to have a chance to show off just how much our region has transformed, especially when you look at the Super Bowl. We hadn't hosted since 2009. So it had been 12 years since we've hosted. And as you can attest in Lakeland, or as people can attest in St. Pete or Clearwater or Tampa or Pasco, whatever it may be, our area has transformed in the last 5 years, let alone the last 12. And so going into the hosting opportunity, we knew we would have an opportunity to showcase all the transformation in the infrastructure. But what we didn't know is we were going to have an opportunity to showcase our region's spirit. And because of all the adversity that we faced over the last 13 months, I think we had an opportunity to showcase that winning spirit of Team Tampa Bay. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time recapping the Super Bowl, a quick look. We're still debriefing over WrestleMania, and then just talk about the importance of youth and amateur sports tourism as well. And then naturally, I'll open it up to any questions that anybody may have. First, when it comes to the Super Bowl, again, our hometown's 5th, we really focus on three different areas as to why the Super Bowl is so important to our region. It's the social impact, the economic impact, and then the marketing visibility that we receive being on one of the world's biggest stages. So I'll talk a little bit about each of those. While the Super Bowl may have ended on February 7th, and might I add that it ended in the absolute perfect way with the right team winning and making history by not only playing in their home stadium, but also winning the Super Bowl. The reality is Super Bowl 55 actually isn't over, and it'll actually never really be over. And that's because we created a social legacy initiative in conjunction with the NFL. It was a $2 million investment into our area that really focused on 6 different pillars: early childhood education, food insecurity, families, fitness, sustainability, as well as systemic justice. And so through really a variety of different community partnerships, I think we'll continue to see the fruits of the overall Super Bowl continue to pay great dividends here in our area. So that's it from a social impact standpoint, but the economics of it are really important too. When you look at what our tourism and hospitality community went through over the last year, I mean, that was one of the hardest hit sectors of the overall economy. And so to have, as we start to climb back and start to recover, to have, really our country's biggest event take place in our community is a great catalyst for us. So you see some numbers on the screen there. It talks about our areas, what it did from a hotel standpoint in terms of occupancy, daily rate, demand, and revenue. what our area looked like throughout the pandemic for an average 3-day weekend. And then it looks at what the Super Bowl accomplished. So whether it was the occupancy going up 77% to the daily rate, doubling, more than doubling. And then I think obviously the revenue is probably the most impressive, going from just under $7 million of hotel revenue for a 3-day weekend throughout the pandemic to over $31 million. So this was really an economic shot in the arm when we could use it the most. And the other thing that we look at, you could see economic impact calculated in a variety of different ways. There's a lot of different formulas for it. We focus specifically on hotel visitation as well as airline passenger traffic. That takes a lot of the guesswork out. We know if somebody stays in a hotel room, we know if somebody uses an airline seat and travels in and out of our area. And if they do that, they're likely spending money here. And what our airline passenger traffic did was basically double for 4 to 5 days compared to what had been seen in recent months during the pandemic. And then the number of private planes was more than 3 times what it was on average in recent months too. So whether it was a hotel standpoint or an airport standpoint, the Super Bowl certainly performed really well for us at a time, again, when we could really use it. The third, key deliverable, in addition to social impact and economic impact, is the media value that our region gets from hosting. We spend a lot of time, actually a couple years, working with the different broadcast partners to help identify potential set locations, beauty shot locations, those type things, as well as working to arm the media with information about our area in terms of that transformation that I referenced. We also did a couple different things, like creating a social media command center where we had folks listening in real time to social channels to be able to respond to any questions that came up. Naturally, this was a year that had a lot of questions in terms of health and safety and different things, what would be allowed at events, what was needed to be able to enter, all those type things. So we were on top of it from that standpoint. And then another initiative that we started a year out from the event was a weekly podcast we did in conjunction with 10 Tampa Bay WTSP, where we took people behind the scenes of the making of the Super Bowl. So if you listen to podcasts, it's not too late. You can go on wherever your favorite podcast platform is. And we have more than 60 episodes of the Tampa Bay 55 podcast with a lot of different special guests. We actually ended up having 19 different Tampa Bay Buccaneers, current players or former stars, that all gave their perspective throughout the overall season. So check that out if you get a chance. One of the probably the primary fan event that took place in conjunction with the game itself was Super Bowl Experience presented by Lowe's. That took place in downtown Tampa along our Riverwalk. We were fortunate to be able to spread out through 7 different parks, implement great health and safety protocols, and it resulted in record-breaking attendance. You see some of the pictures there as part of it. We had over 240,000 attendees, 35,000 attendees per session, which again is an NFL record. But we did it in a really safe way. We had a health screening app that was required for people to enter. We were able to limit park capacity. We had masks as mandatory, and we had fan safety managers roaming the parks to make sure everybody was doing their part. And I think the overall results were certainly really strong. I think we wanted to make sure that no matter what the decision was with the Super Bowl, every single step of the way, when you're planning a Super Bowl, there's thousands of decisions that go into it. And some are big, some are small, but no matter the size and scope, health and safety was going to be the determining factor on how we proceeded with every decision. So when you look at, I referenced Super Bowl Experience with the 240,000 people, to us having the highest stadium capacity since the pandemic started at that time with 38% capacity. When you look at the success from an attendance standpoint, to then have the results be as low as it was from a positivity standpoint when it comes to cases, I think we were really pleased. We worked with our local health department as well as our government officials to really monitor that after the event took place. There was 57 cases attributed to Super Bowl activities. The majority of those activities were unofficial, unsanctioned activities, like watch parties or unsanctioned parties, things like that, versus the actual official events like the game and Super Bowl experience. So when you look at just, our county alone, only 1 in 4,700 attendees to the official Super Bowl events tested positive, versus when you just were out in our county during that exact same time period, about 1 in 99 people tested positive. So we really feel strongly that the health and safety protocols worked at a really high level, and naturally, that's something that we're really proud of. One other thing I would just reference before wrapping up on the Super Bowl specifically is just the importance of community ambassadors. We had nearly 8,000 people volunteer to help our hometown shine on the biggest of stages. You see some great statistics there, whether it was the 300 captains, to all the training that took place, to all the groups that participated. I think the strength of Team Tampa Bay has always been this spirit of volunteerism, and to have people step up in the middle of a pandemic like they did was fantastic. And I think it really resonated well with all of our visitors. That middle picture on the sidebar there of that slide, that was a group at the airport. And literally, anytime somebody landed and got off the tram at Tampa International Airport, they were cheering for them like it was a pep rally. And when you have that type of first impression for our guests, I think people are just blown away. And it's one of those touches of Tampa Bay that leaves a lasting impression with these valued visitors that came and spent their time with us here for that weekend. That's a look, and you see a couple last pictures there from a Super Bowl standpoint. Fresh off the heels of that, just a couple months later, and just a couple weeks ago, we hosted our first ever WrestleMania. That really has been our white whale, per se, of events that we had never had an opportunity to host, but had been bidding on for quite some time. Not only was it historic in terms of when you couple it with Super Bowl, but the fact that it was the first 2-night stadium event. WWE announced that we had 25,000 people, more than 25,000 people per night. And the other great thing, as I referenced in terms of the social impact of Super Bowl, is they had a variety of different community initiatives. You see a picture on the right of their sustainable garden initiative, where they're planting 5 of those at local elementary schools and parks to help give back to the community. In terms of future major events, we've got a lot of great NCAA championships coming up. The SEC men's basketball tournament, as was referenced, is coming up this March, but then we just were able to get awarded 4 NCAA signature events in the upcoming future years. So the Frozen Four, the men's ice hockey championship, is making its 3rd trip to our community in 2023. We previously hosted in 2012 and 2016. We've got the NCAA women's volleyball championship coming in 2023. We last hosted way back in 2009. So that's one we haven't hosted in a while, and we're really excited about. Our 4th NCAA women's Final Four is coming to Amalie Arena in 2025. We've hosted in 2008, 2015, and 2019. No communities welcomed more NCAA women's Final Four fans than our community. And then we have NCAA Men's March Madness, the men's basketball tournament, returning in 2026. You may recall we were supposed to host last year, and then it got canceled naturally due to the health and safety concerns there. So it's great to have that one coming back as well. That's a look at a lot of the major events that we're so fortunate to have an opportunity to host. But our bread and butter is also the youth and amateur sports tourism space. You see the top statistic there that sports tourism generates about 47 million hotel visitor room nights every year. There are actually 29 sports commissions throughout the the state of Florida. You guys have a fantastic one in Polk County with Central Florida Sports Marketing, and those folks do a great job and have always been great partners of ours. When I started in this role back close to 17 years ago, there was actually 100 sports tourism agencies across the country, and now there's more than 600. So I think you've seen that communities have seen a great return on investment, as has ours, in focusing on trying to bring a lot of youth and amateur events that can help fill the hotel rooms, the restaurants, and shops, each and every weekend. You see just some of the great markets that we have an opportunity to go after, like volleyball and equestrian and soccer and softball and cheerleading. And we've got some other great events coming up as well that we're really excited about to help fill those hotel rooms each and every weekend, as I referenced. I've got one last slide before I open it up to any questions that you guys may have. I'll give you a little bit of a look behind the scenes. Our board of directors back in April of last year, as the live events world was really starting to shut down and had already shut down, we all came together as a board and staff, and I think came to the firm realization that we really were built for this moment. When other organizations maybe would be pumping the brakes and would be hitting pause, we felt like we were positioned to hit the gas and really do everything we can to position our overall region for success. And so to recap what has transpired by us hitting the gas over this last year, both the major events that canceled right at the onset of the pandemic with WrestleMania, as well as NCAA March Madness, rebooked. I talked about Super Bowl Experience. That was the first fan festival that had taken place since the pandemic started anywhere in the country, and we referenced that record attendance, the largest stadium crowd since the pandemic started, the Super Bowl and WrestleMania, us being the first community to ever host both. One other thing from a WWE standpoint, their Thunderdome residency took place at Tropicana Field from December through the end of March. Then we hosted WrestleMania first week of April, and now it's at the Yingling Center on the campus of USF for the next few months as well. So we basically have been housing WWE's core operation here. Speaking of relocating, the Toronto Raptors moved their training camp here as well as their regular season, and we've had a great time hosting them at Amalie Arena. Our youth and amateur space, highlighted by our Sportsplex, which is a 15-field facility in the eastern part of the county, hit its overall hotel room night goal for the whole year, despite it being closed for 4 months. And then I referenced the 4 NCAA signature events that we just rebooked, and us being the only community to go 4 for 4 when it comes to those events. So certainly we're really excited and bullish on the future. We're fortunate to have this great mechanism of sports tourism to showcase our community's winning spirit. And we just appreciate all the support we receive from Polk County and from Lakeland and our neighbors here to the east. And certainly would love to look at other ways to potentially partner as well. So with that, I'd love to come up for air. I'll open it up to any questions. I'm not sure the best means to be able to address any of the questions in the room and or on the Zoom, but I'd be happy to do that. And again, just really appreciate the opportunity to be with you guys today.
All right. Thank you, Rob. I think we got time for 2 or 3 questions. So Amanda, do we have anything online?
There are none online yet.
Okay. We do have 1 or 2 in the room then.
Thank you. Can you tell us what the ramifications from marketing will be if we do not solve the Tampa Bay Rays issue?
Well, our focus from a sports commission standpoint is really on the major events that we can bid on and bring to the overall region. We've got a great partnership with the Rays. We've got a great partnership with the municipalities involved. In short, we're leaving it to them to be able to work out, because that's their wheelhouse and that's their business. I think from our standpoint, we're going to continue to look for potential events that we can bring to the area. If there is a facility, any facility that ends up coming online, certainly we would look for additional events that could potentially bring here. But really our core focus is to try to fill the facilities that we do have now and market them as best as possible. We love the Rays though, and we stand ready to help them however we can. Brian Ald and Matt Silverman and Stu Sternberg have been fantastic partners to us.
Rob, you referred to a couple of things, but what were the areas in which you worked directly with Polk County? How did Polk County and Lakeland specifically get connected and involved with what all you all are doing over your way?
Well, Mark Jackson and Zimmerman and the whole crew at Central Florida Sports Marketing are fantastic. I'll tell you, they've done a great job from a youth and amateur sports tourism standpoint. When it comes to big events, there's a lot of need when it comes to hotel capacity specifically. So for an event like the Super Bowl, we will reach out to them to try to identify additional hotel inventory so that Polk County can be a part of that overall package to be able to house guests. But then I'll tell you, we stay in open lines of communication for potential events. If an event looked at Hillsborough County and for one reason or another a facility wasn't available, we would reach out and give them a heads up because we'd want to keep it in the area, and I think they certainly would do the same. I actually got an inquiry this past weekend about a potential event where we didn't have the dates available, and we immediately suggested the potential to go to Lake Myrtle to see if those dates would work there. So I think it's just being good partners and good neighbors and continuing to find ways to be able to work together, because I think we all realize, this region's biggest strength is teamwork and collaboration. And I think that's what sets this region apart from a lot of others. When you go to certain other areas throughout the country, if you visit it one time and you see that like iconic destination of theirs, you can check it off the list and maybe not go back. But I think the strength of our region is you can come year over year and get an all new experience because of everything around this area. One year you could go check out Lakeland. One year you could check out the beaches. One year you could check out Busch Gardens. You could go to Legoland. I mean, there's this like infinite list where year in and year out, you've got an opportunity to build an all new experience. And quite frankly, there's a lot, I know I'm biased, but there's a lot of regions that can't do that. So I think we're blessed to have these, this strong region, and continuing to find ways to work together is certainly a top priority.
Rob, thank you for this excellent presentation. I was so interested to see about the children's area. You had equestrian, and I think there were 4 or 5 up there. Could you tell us a little bit more about where they're located, where the equestrian is done? Thank you.
Yeah, equestrian is one of our bigger markets in terms of driving youth and amateur events here to the community. For the most part, it takes place at the Florida State Fairgrounds, and that's been a great boon in terms of sports tourism. But if it's, we look at it as if there's events that can help fill our hotel rooms and that can make sense for our community, we're going to try to go after them. And I think a lot of communities have come to that realization that sports tourism in a variety of ways is recession proof. I think we saw it back in 2009 as the economy started to fall back then, that parents who previously maybe went on a family vacation and then a couple weeks later would go to Johnny and Sarah's tournament that they were playing in, quickly found a way that maybe the vacation we had to hit pause on, and we would just go to the tournament but get there a day early and stay a day late and capitalize on almost a playcation of sorts. And when you're in a region like ours, you certainly have an advantage of others to get into that scenario where people arrive a day early and stay a day late and make it, almost a hybrid vacation and tournament scenario. And so we look at a variety of different markets. I think a lot of times people think of just like the stick and ball sports, the baseball, softball, soccers of the world, but we look at just about everything, whether it's equestrian to bowling to bridge, like playing cards. If it's a competition and it can generate some room nights, we'd love to have it in this area to help drive that hospitality and tourism economy.
Fantastic. I think that's all the questions we've got. Rob, thank you so much for sharing your day with us and giving us this update. I don't think we do not want to understate how much economic impact we get from events in Central Florida, in the Tampa Bay area and whatnot. It bleeds over into all the other areas and we all benefit from it. So thank you so much for sharing that insight with us.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. You can always check out our website, tampabaysports.org. We're also very active on social media, and we just appreciate the strong regional collaboration we have going on here. So we appreciate the time today and hope you have a great rest of your meeting.
Great. Thank you so much. I'm going to get you this book. It's blank. You get to fill it with whatever you want in it, but it's in appreciation from this club for you speaking to us. So we'll find a way to get this to you, Rob. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. At this time, I'd like to thank the guests, visiting Rotarians. Looks like visiting Rotarians, Doug and Mac. Good to see you in person again. Thank you all for joining us. Our weekly quote, it's not the will to win that matters. Everyone has that. It's the will to prepare to win that matters. Carol, who do you think that's from? Bear Bryant. Just wondering if you would know that. We do have one final announcement. Jack, would you update us, please?
So as you all know, I sent out a poll asking what would it take to get you to come to a meeting. And I'm pleased to say that we got 35 here today, but we got your results and we've taken it into consideration. So in 2 weeks, what we're going to do is you're going to be able to order off of one of 4 menu options here at the restaurant. You don't have to pay for them ahead of time. We'll do separate checks when you get here. We do need to know what you're going to order. So we're going to send it out and you all can either send me an email and say, I want the club sandwich or I want the Irish stew, whatever it is. And then just remember that when you come in, because we're going to have a list and that's how they're going to serve your food. But the price point should come down. Everybody will be responsible for their own bill. So you don't have to register by Friday. We can do it by Monday now. I know a lot of people said that I don't know what my schedule's like next week. So this gives you 24 hours. And truthfully, you all should be blocking out noon on Tuesday anyway on your calendar. We've only been doing this for 102 years. So, but anyway, so I hope that helps. So we'll give you some options, lower price point, and the food here is wonderful in the restaurant. I think I've had just about everything they serve. So I think that hopefully that meets a lot of need and we get to see more people coming here on Tuesday. So in 2 weeks, plan on ordering your own food.
What could possibly go wrong? And for the record, we have been talking with members at the church. We are trying to see if we can get back into the church. They do have their sort of reservations about doing so too soon, but they're going to try to get some of their classes going and then they're going to work us back in. It's probably going to be June. It's probably going to be June to just be realistic about it. All right. So our next week's meeting is going to be Zoom only. Zoom only. Don't show up here unless you're just really hungry. So absent any protests to the contrary, we're going to call this meeting adjourned. Have a great week, everyone. Thank you.